Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask, Heidi. It is Wednesday, the 13th day of March. It's International Every Girl Wins Day, so you win today.
Well, thank you.
But it's also Ken Day, which seems odd. That also does kind of seem...
That's funny.
Almost feels like an Oscar situation, but we'll just move on. We do have an Oscar report later today. Going to be getting a report from someone who was there. National Coconut Tort Day, National Earmuff Day, National Good Samaritan Day, National Jewel Day, National Canine Veterans Day, National Open an Umbrella Indoors Day. I thought you weren't supposed to do that. And Smart and Sexy Day. So in other words, Heidi Day. So there we go. I'm excited to visit with my guest today, Simon Sinek. And I am a huge fan. I think Simon is such a smart dude. And I was reading online, it says he is a thought leader for his generation.
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
Well, I don't know exactly, but it sounds pretty good. So that's how I'm going to introduce him. So Simon Sinek, coming your way here in just a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Give yourself a little credit.
I've been telling you about BetterCreditCards.com for a few years now. I'd love for you to take a few minutes today to check out the website. Who knows? You might find a better credit card, one that offers a better rate, or a credit card that offers cash back, airline miles, or other points and perks that can help you. Check it out now.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to BetterCreditCards.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. The age-old question for those about to pop the question is, how much should I spend on an engagement ring or a wedding ring? Some people say 2 to 3 months' salary is a rule of thumb.
Yeah, I thought it was 3 months. That's what it said.
By the way, they say that number comes from people who sell rings. So that is where that number comes from. According to new research, where you should really be careful about how much you spend on the actual ring. Why? The study published in the Journal of Economic Inquiry asked survey participants about their expenses and the ring costs, as well as the length of their marriage. And what they found was engagement ring expenditures were largely unrelated to how long a marriage actually lasts.
Well, of course.
But those who spent the least on a wedding ring, less than $1,000, had the lowest risk of divorce. By contrast, those who spent the most on wedding rings, like $20,000 or more, were the greatest risk of divorce.
Yep.
So if you really, truly love somebody, give them a tiny ring. Like I gave Heidi a ring. She pulls out like a little eyeglass thing and looks at it.
I love my ring.
She has to look at it through a magnifying glass. It's like, right there's the diamond.
No, not
Researchers suggest it's possible that more expensive rings might be linked to taking on more debt, which causes more stress, which causes the problem. So just be careful. That's all I'm trying to say. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
Insurance. It's important to have insurance, but it's more important to have the right insurance. After all, if you're not covered, it's like not even having insurance. Make sure you're covered for whatever claim might come your way with InsuranceChicken.com, helping you peck out great insurance deals in your area. You need insurance on your car anyway. Why not get great rates for great insurance from InsuranceChicken.com? That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Heidi, did you know that a bad night's sleep could explain your potty mouth?
No.
Would you stop it? You are lucky I got a bleeper over here. New research from Oklahoma State University links sleep quality with the use of profanity. A survey of 309 undergraduates said students who did not sleep well cursed more frequently and used significantly more self-defeating humor than their well-rested classmates. The researchers surmise that poorly rested people curse and make themselves the butt of a joke in a way of overcompensating for how they feel, which is tired and a little bit crabby.
I get that.
A little bit gloomy. I don't get as much sleep as I probably should, but I get a lot more sleep than I used to. It does make a difference. I'm just thinking, man, imagine if I got the right amount of sleep.
Right.
I would feel amazing. All right. We don't know everything, but now we know this.
John and Heidi.
Now with a special big screen, little screen, we are going to connect with film critic Ryan J., and he was on the red carpet Sunday night. Were there any big surprises at the Oscars this year?
No really major surprises. As far as the acting categories go, for both Best Actor and Best Actress, it was kind of neck and neck between Lily Gladstone and Emma Stone throughout award season, and Emma won, and the same for Best Actor. We saw both Paul Giamatti and Cillian Murphy winning throughout award season, and it was Cillian's night.
And one of the weirdest things from the last year, they tried so hard to make Barbieheimer a thing, and that's just not a thing.
A lot of people wondered why that was happening. Had they not been released, I think, on the same day, that might not have happened, but they were both hotly anticipated movies. When Barbie came out, there was people going together in groups dressing up in pink. Also, Christopher Nolan is just a crowd pleaser as a filmmaker, and Oppenheimer was a big deal for moviegoers.
But there was certainly a split at the Oscars for the two.
Oppenheimer, which had 13 nominations, won 7 and was a huge box office success. And then Barbie, which had 8 nominations, won Best Original Song. We saw a split both ways.
And I'm sure the standout moment had to be Ryan Gosling doing his Ken song.
I'd say that, yeah, that's definitely the biggest standout moment in the sense that it was a showstopper. It was a lot of fun. It brought energy to the telecast at a point that it really, needed it and took full advantage of it. It was just great seeing all of that, Kenergy, right, as they say.
Well, thank you for your Kenergy on this report. And you've been a film critic for a bit now.
Oh, God, I want to say 18 years.
Well, keep up the good work, my friend. Ryan J., a film critic, and he had a little report for us from the 2024 Oscars. Thank you for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
What could you do with an extra $129 a month? In this economy, every penny counts. So an extra $129 each month would absolutely help. Well, 97% of us have a cell phone, and the average person pays $144 a month. Mint Mobile can help you save a mint. At just $15 a month, that's an average savings of $129 each month. It's time for a Mintervention. Switch and save today. Get this special offer at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. Cornell University researchers discovered the best place in America to hide from a zombie apocalypse is the Rocky Mountains.
Really?
Yeah. So, hey,
Good to know.
Cornell University, why don't you guys just keep working on things that matter? That's never going to happen. We're not going to have a zombie apocalypse. That's made up. It's 100% science fiction. So let's not spend more time and resources and overpriced college degrees working on that one. Let's work on stuff that matters. Hey, if you're looking to travel somewhere to witness the first total eclipse in North America since 2017, your chance to do it on the cheap may have already eclipsed. Monday, April 8th, the zone of totality, where you can see the sun vanish completely, goes from Mexico's Pacific coast on a northeasterly path through Texas, and then up into Indiana, then Ohio, then New York, then Vermont, then New Hampshire, then Maine, passing through Ontario and Canada's eastern provinces. The whole thing takes about 2.5 hours. The actual time when the moon passes between the Earth and the sun, turning day into darkness, lasts about 4 minutes per location. But getting accommodations in any of the prime viewing areas is going to cost you.
Yeah.
So listen to this. How much do you suppose it costs for a room in one of these places?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. We have friends that go, and it's not cheap.
So Killeen, Texas, Fairfield Inn by Marriott offered up rooms for $809.
Holy cow.
Yeah. A week later, the rooms go for $103. So that's the difference between eclipse time and non-eclipse time. Cape Girardeau, Missouri has a one-bedroom Airbnb for $1,350 for that night.
For one night.
Yeah, in Cleveland, all hotel rooms are completely booked, but a one-bedroom apartment was just listed for $3,500 for the one night. Jeez. So you get the idea. Airfares also went up as much as 80% for a chance to see the eclipse. Delta charging $749 for a flight from Austin to Detroit. It's designed for in-air eclipsing, so you can look out the window.
Oh.
But the airline claims no responsibility for weather or takeoff delays because they've had issues with that kind of thing in the past. So I don't know. I'm not... It's cool, I think it's
that
neat,
would be
but
cool.
I wouldn't spend that much doing it. Scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-310-5831. 800-310-5831. That's 800-310-5831.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show today. Excited to visit right now with a thought leader for his generation. We have Mr. Simon Sinek. And Simon, I had to say that because I read that about you. That's a cool thing to be called, a thought leader.
Well, I don't think I'd ever call myself that, but it's very nice when people say it to me.
Now, you got some videos online that have done really well. There are probably some people listening, they're going, Simon Sinek, I don't know who that is. You probably do know who that is. You've seen the videos. They've been shared over and over and over, viewed 60 million times, this one 80 million times, this one hundreds of millions of times. What is it like when you put out a piece of content that are your thoughts and it gets shared by millions of people that are all going, you got to see this?
Well, it feels like winning the lottery, to be honest, because it's one of those things you can't plan for and you certainly don't expect. I certainly didn't. And for me, it's the ideas that I have are to help me live a better life, help my friends to live a better life, and if it's worth sharing, I will. And so it caught me by surprise the first time one of those ideas went viral, to be honest. And it's an absolute honor that people find value in my work, of course.
Something that you're sharing on a pretty consistent basis right now is a little program that you do with your sister. It's called A Bit of Optimism. And I think our world needs a little more optimism at this particular time in our history.
Yeah, that's definitely why we started it. I started it in the middle of COVID when we were sort of confused and it was a lot of darkness and people were suffering around us. And so it was actually my sister who came to me and said, we should share a bit of optimism, that the world is bright. It's not all doomsday. And it's how it started. We didn't expect it to last much longer. We've done over 100 episodes now. But yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. And that's exactly what we do is we talk to people and shine a little light that there's hope in the world. And there's some fascinating people with a point of view that I think make the world a better place, quite frankly.
Again, the program is called A Bit of Optimism. Simon, how long is the average episode if somebody would like to take a listen?
Well, that's actually a funny story. I have ADHD, and so I don't have the patience to listen to podcasts that are 3 hours long. So ours are like 25 to 40 minutes, usually in the 30-minute space.
I love that. And that's a nice amount of time for somebody to listen when they've got a moment. I see some of these programs that are like 2.5 or 3 hours long.
I know.
I'm like, I don't even have time to listen to that. How do they have time to do it?
I'm with you.
I'm going to throw a link to make it easy for folks to find the program. Again, it's called A Bit of Optimism. And Simon Sinek is our guest right now. Simon, do you look back at this and say, I've got this episode that's my favorite? Or is it like kids? You can't really pick a favorite.
Yeah, it's a little bit like kids, but some of the more recent episodes were really powerful. I did one with Christina Tosi, who's the founder of Milk Bar, that you can buy, their cookies and stuff in the supermarket. And we just talked about this amazing concept of what friends need from each other. And I have this rule with my friends that there's no crying alone. That's my rule, no crying alone. But the problem is like, how do you know when your friends are in need, right? So I had this one friend, she was struggling and I didn't know it. And I saw her like a week or two after she was going through some hard stuff. And she was telling me what happened the past couple of weeks. And I was like, why didn't you call me? Like, I've been here for you the whole time. Why didn't you even know? And she said, I did. I texted you. I said, no, you didn't. She goes, yeah, I did. I reached out. And I look at my text and it says, hey, what are you up to? Hey, want to get dinner? I'm like, you mean these texts, the ones that look like every other text you send me? I'm like, how do I know that you're calling her for help?
Yeah.
So she read this article in the newspaper that people only need 8 minutes of time to, if they're in a bad place, to feel better.
Yeah.
And so we came up with this rule that if you text me or I text you that says, I need 8 minutes, that means I'm in a bad place and I need you.
I love that.
And anybody can step out of a meeting for 8 minutes to give that to their friend. And so that's what we do now. And so I talked to Christina Tosi about this on a recent episode, and it was absolutely inspiring.
I love that. And once again, Simon, very shareable. So this is something I think I'm going to share, and others should too, to let people know that, hey, you can make a big difference, and it only takes 8 minutes.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me, but also thank you so much for doing this program. We need a little more optimism, so I love the fact that you call it A Bit of Optimism.
A bit of optimism, yeah.
Which is something we need a lot more of in this world, a lot more optimism. And during the dark days of COVID, there were a lot of people who said we need to do something bright, cheerful, positive, more optimistic, and they talked about it, but they didn't do it. And there are big talkers and there are big doers. Simon Sinek is our guest today. He's a big doer. So thank you for doing it instead of just talking about it.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Again, our guest today, Simon Sinek. I've got a link to the program, A Bit of Optimism. You can share A Bit of Optimism, too. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Give yourself a little credit.
I've been telling you about BetterCreditCards.com for a few years now. I'd love for you to take a few minutes today to check out the website. Who knows? You might find a better credit card, one that offers a better rate, or a credit card that offers cash back, airline miles, or other points and perks that can help you. Check it out now.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to bettercreditcards.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
When you awake, the human brain produces enough electricity to power a small light bulb. Oh, that's cool.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
An average person produces about 25,000 quarts of saliva in their lifetime.
Yuck.
So if you didn't swallow, if you just spit, you need a whole lot of jars, is what I'm saying. Yep. 25,000 quarts. That's enough to fill 2 swimming pools, by the way. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
An average person will forget 80% of what they learned today.
What?
I'm way ahead of all of you. Did you learn that, Heidi? Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Roses cut in the afternoon last longer than roses cut in the morning.
Really?
Yeah. I'm thinking that's pretty cool. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Sign language has tongue twisters. They are referred to as finger fumblers.
Oh, that's funny.
So if it's hard to sign certain things.
And I bet there is. I've never thought about that before, but I bet there are things that are hard to sign.
Several fun facts. Now, thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Insurance. It's important to have insurance, but it's more important to have the right insurance. After all, if you're not covered, it's like not even having insurance. Make sure you're covered for whatever claim might come your way with InsuranceChicken.com, helping you peck out great insurance deals in your area. You need insurance on your car anyway. Why not get great rates for great insurance from InsuranceChicken.com? That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Time now for the Mint Mobile question of the day. It comes your way courtesy of Mintervention.com. Question, Heidi. 93% of people can identify this smell in 1 second. What is it? It's a good
Gasoline.
smell. No, it's peanut butter. So 93% of people can identify peanut butter.
I'm sure I would be able to.
I'm pretty sure I would too.
Identify peanut butter.
Especially if I watched you open the jar. Like this. Yeah, that's peanut butter. That's what I thought. Mint Mobile question of the day comes your way courtesy of Mintervention.com.
What could you do with an extra $129 a month? In this economy, every penny counts. So an extra $129 each month would absolutely help. Well, 97% of us have a cell phone, and the average person pays $144 a month. Mint Mobile can help you save a mint. At just $15 a month, that's an average savings of $129 each month. It's time for a Mintervention. Switch and save today. Get this special offer at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. A rideshare company is offering a 4-hour tour of Tokyo's public restrooms.
Ew, why?
Yeah, the guided Tokyo toilet shuttle tour takes restroom enthusiasts through what are referred to as the symbols of Japan's world-renowned hospitality culture. In 2020, the city embarked on an initiative. I can't read well today, Heidi. The city embarked on an initiative called the Tokyo Toilet. They brought together some of the biggest names in architecture. They designed and renovated 17 public restrooms, all featured on the tour. So,
okay.
Yeah, so you get to go along and see. They made all of these things beautiful. They're like, you know what? Why not? Let's be known for something good. So it's kind of a neat idea. But I can't even imagine if you had friends that were with you.
I'm just still flabbergasted that there are restroom enthusiasts.
Yeah, but I just think it'd be weird. Imagine if you're traveling with friends. You're like, what do you guys want to do tomorrow? I'm like, how about the toilet tour?
Toilet tour.
Huh? What do you think? No? Okay. Weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Time now for the list, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. Highest paid Hollywood actors. We just finished up with a weekend of all the Hollywood glitz and glamour at the Oscars. Who do you think is on the list for the top earners in Hollywood? Just say a name, any name.
I haven't watched movies for so long.
Denzel Washington, $24 million.
I'm sure.
He's number 10. Ben Affleck, $38 million. A tie for 7th place, Jason Statham, who I like, and Leo DiCaprio, who I also like, $41 million. Jennifer Aniston raked in $42 million.
Okay.
Matt Damon raked in $43 million. So did Ryan Gosling with Barbie. It was $43 million. So keep in mind, Ryan Gosling, everybody was saying how unfair it was that he was nominated for an Oscar. He got $43 million. He was number 4. Tom Cruise, $45 million. Number 3, Margot Robbie, $59 million.
Oh, that's unfair.
So she made a lot more than he did. So I don't know if there's people complaining about that. Who do you think is number 1? Shout it out nice and loud. Everybody loves him. Adam Sandler, $73 million.
I do love Adam Sandler.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. There you go. That is the list. Brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-310-5831. 800-310-5831. That's 800-310-5831.
Time now for the quote of the day. It comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Our quote today is from Dan Bennett, who says, "A gossip is a person who creates the smoke in which other people assume there's a fire." Mm-hmm. It's a nice way of thinking of it.
Yeah, it is.
And I've actually seen people who they'll gossip about something. Well, let me tell you about this one lady. She, see what I did there? No, I've seen it where it's caused major problems, though, and giant rifts between people, because then they're like, oh, this is happening. Or like, that's not happening. Well, so-and-so said it was. Well, they were wrong.
Yeah.
Just be careful. Don't talk about people. This quote is from Dan Bennett. He's a nice guy from the sounds of it. Quote of the day comes your way, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. Comes your way courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. And I think this is actually a really cool story. The technology we have out there, and this doesn't look like it's like super advanced technology. It looks like a popsicle stick. But a miniature neck brace saves a Peruvian jumping stick. It's a little bug. This is from Houston, Texas. It's a heartwarming tale of ingenuity and care. The Houston Zoo recently announced the successful rehabilitation of a tiny resident, a Peruvian jumping stick, thanks to the creation of the world's tiniest neck brace. The saga began when one of the zoo's entomologist keepers noticed a crease in a weakened area in a non-joint part of an insect's neck after completing its molting process. Quick to respond, the entomologist team collaborated closely with the zoo's veterinary experts and devised an extraordinary solution, a miniature, flexible neck brace. Like I said, it almost looks like a stick off a sucker. In an official blog post, the Houston Zoo proudly introduced their creation, saying, "Introducing the world's tiniest neck brace. Recently, one of our smaller residents, a Peruvian jumping stick, completed molting. After post-molting process, one of our entomologist keepers noticed the insect had a creased, weakened area around a non-joint area of the neck." That's kind of what we already just got done talking about. Anyway, this adorable little creature.
This is so cute.
Now has this thing wired up so its neck won't break. The zoo expressed pride in the collaborative effort. They say whether it's a mammal, reptile, bird, or even an insect, all of our animals receive extraordinary care from our veterinary team, no matter how big or small they may be. Together with the help of our entomology and veterinary team, one of our smallest critters received exceptional treatment thanks to an ingenious design of a temporary neck brace.
Love it.
I love it, too. I've got a link to that story. You can see an image and get all the details in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Wednesday.